ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, RFK Refugees Podcast. Now, you know you guys are getting used to John Hoffman, so don't get too comfortable. Here I am. I'm giving y'all. John's got the star players, the Ashley Hatch, the Kevin Paredes. He's got all those interviews. I'm giving y'all meat and potatoes. I'm getting y'all ready for Saturday. And joining us on the podcast, we had them on last time. At least one of them has returned from last time. We have from the Doop by the River podcast. We got Jon, we got Justin, we got Zack, all here to preview the upcoming game, DC United versus the Philadelphia Union in Philadelphia. I've been out to y'all stadium many, many times. I'm a little bit sad I won't be able to make it out. I actually went up as a Richmond Kickers fan for the Open Cup game once. That was a lot of fun. A lot of good memories over at that stadium. But guys, welcome to the show.
What's going on, man? Thanks for having us.
How's it going, everyone?
Thanks for having me back.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's get right into it. Jon, you got here first. I was kind of surprised how quickly you guys got in on the show, but I appreciate it. Justin's the one running a little bit late. He was the one he arrived right on time.
He's coming from West Virginia. He gets an excuse here.
Oh man, West Virginia, huh? I did not know that. That's cool. All right. I'll start with you, Jon. You were the first to arrive. So right now you got Philly sitting third in the East. But you guys are coming off a bit of a winless streak. 2 draws and a loss. Any concerns? Any panic in Union Land?
Oh, dude, there's always panic in Union Land. When you're talking about Philly sports fans, we always try to find something to panic. Now, but me personally, I mean, look, it's not a good look, right? Yeah, you draw to Chicago up in Chicago against a bad team. You lose to Nashville on 4th of July weekend on all weekends nonetheless. And then, of course, last Thursday on a rainy, ugly New Jersey night, the Union find a way to squeak out a point. I think right now with the Union, what you're seeing from the Union, like we have this new DP, right? Daniel Gazdak. He's coming in as an attacker, right? We've seen him play the 10. We've seen him play as that false 9, that holding guy. And it's right now the chemistry's lacking. I think that's really what it is. The attack is just missing that chemistry that you kind of seen in the past, but there's no need to panic, right? Just the more games they're going to get into it. We're in the middle of summer. These guys will figure it out. We trust Jim. I mean, you know there, Ted, how good Jim has been with this team. So for me personally, there is no panic. This stuff does happen. I mean, not every year is going to be like 2020 when you're running through and you're beating New England like 6 straight times, and you get the supporter shield. So no panic, Union fans, no panic.
Zack, any? Do you concur with him?
For the most part, yeah, but I'm a little more worried than Jon is here. And for those of you who don't know, I'm the resident pessimist on the Doop by the River podcast.
Yes, he is.
We need Zack. We need Zack for this.
I don't like to call myself a pessimist. I like to call myself a realist. So I think I'm not as worried about the results as how we've played in the results, because it's not as if like we've dominated games and teams have squeaked by getting like lucky goals or whatever. We've had to like fight throughout these games to actually get these points. And if you guys watched the last game, I know it was raining and stuff, but 64% pass accuracy at halftime is not good enough at any level that you're playing. So I think that like teams are starting to kind of figure out this diamond that Jim's running in the middle. And I think a big thing that we're going to have to see from Jim is his ability to adjust the system. Not necessarily change it entirely, but adjust it where teams are going to have to refigure it out, like they've been trying to do for the past 3 years. So, yeah, that's really my whole thing is how will Jim react and how will these guys react to these past couple really poor performances? And will we see changes in the lineup? Will we see changes in the system? And what will those changes be?
Yeah, so I was thinking about it because despite being in West Virginia, I was able to watch the Union game. A few of the people that I was with, I have season tickets with, so of course they wanted to watch the game, and most of us were soccer heads, so threw it on. And I don't think I'm necessarily I'm not leaning towards pessimism, but I'm not overly optimistic. I saw flashes. I do like Gazdag at that false 9. Actually, I know he played predominantly there actually for his Hungarian team, where he did help them stave off relegation. Seems to be a common thing with some of our attacking players, and staving off relegation and then not scoring here. I mean, I know it's early for Gazdag. I don't want to go down the Wooten trail,
Come on,
but
Justin.
that's a spiral no one wants to go down just yet. But from what I saw between him and Casper, I like Gazdag's his link up play. I like how he drops deep and he's willing to push it up. And there were a few chances where they were just off. And that's just getting playing time here. It's not like they're not creating the chances. They're not scrapping hard. That's the one thing in the last few years this team has done well is its ability to, get scrappy and grind out ugly results. This style, it's supposed to be high flying counter attacking, but the way that Jim, coaches his team, the one thing he coaches is just not giving up, that relentless, that hustle. And the Union are, I mean, a lot of teams have said they're one of the best conditioned teams in the league. That is one thing that Jim makes sure. Doesn't matter. You're not going to have, the Zlatans, the Chicharitos, the David Villas, but you're going to have a ton of guys that are going to work their ass off and they're going to create chances. Unfortunately, obviously, they have not had some great success. The goal, that came off of PK was a result of a very unfortunate back pass. And Matt Freeze, who I can't imagine what he's going through considering, his father passing that week and the rain. And I know he had a lot on his mind. It was an unfortunate situation, but it was a bad play. You have a new goalie come in, they convert the PK, and then the Union find a way to get a point. Like in past years, you might not have said that about this team. We definitely have cases where down 1-0, down a man, forget it. There's no way we're coming back. So while it's not been an amazing run of form, I still see the semblances of that post CCL run team for we're about that month and a half or so where the Union were starting to climb up the table and starting to be again showing themselves as one of the top teams in the East. And yet, listen, it's the summer. You have Gold Cup. Right now, I mean, the Union are going to be without Andre Blake, Corey Burke, and Alvis Powell, two of which are key starters. But you know what? I think, the one thing the Union have that a lot of teams might not, it's depth. And I think that's one thing that, Union DC matches, they're always ugly. Whether they're close or whether they're always ugly. That's how it's always been. And we've seen some ugly games. I've definitely been on a few where the number of red cards has definitely gone up pretty high. But you know what? That's what you love about the two teams in such close proximity to each other.
The best part is when Mark McKenzie's just ripping goals, man.
Well, let's talk. So I found it interesting you guys actually signed a designated player because I did not know you guys had just signed a new. I'm even looking for him on the roster and I can't find him. But is that a symbol of any? Because I mean, we all know the Union have sort of developed into a team that has obviously has a great academy. They've been pushing their academy. They haven't been a team that's really been able to spend much. You guys obviously had, I think, Marco Fabian, the Mexican international, on a free transfer. But I mean, is this a sign that maybe there's a recognition that, you guys talk about you want to be the Ajax, but you sell players like Brendan Aronson. You have to figure out how to replace those players. Is this sort of an admission maybe that, well, we want to still be that team that develops, but we know we need to maybe break the bank, bring in a designated player if we want to maybe keep ourselves at that high level in the Eastern Conference. We'll start. Yeah, go ahead, Justin.
I would say I think that's a fair assumption to make. You're the fruits of your labor for the academy finally come through, and you sell two of you're the best players that you've had come through your ranks for, the way that Brendan's going and the way that Mark's going, that those initial fees are going to come pretty high, and then the sell-ons, the Union will be raking in the money to come. I don't doubt that, especially Brendan with his trajectory, the national team. I don't doubt that he's going to have a great career. But I think you're starting to see that the Union that Ernst Tenner, which by the way, the man basically almost, has no misses when it comes to scouting. The the one thing that he does that I did not like about Ernie Stewart is he's not afraid to. He loves going into the markets that he knows, but he's not afraid to go into the markets that he doesn't know, but still has contacts in and gets those scouting networks out. And yeah, you're starting to see the spending go up. I mean, Jamiro Montero was around 2 million. Gazdag was around 1.82 million. So the spending's going up. Now, is it ever going to reach 5 or 6? I doubt it. But the union aren't the teams that, like, you look at some teams that are spending, and I use them as an example all the time. FC Cincinnati, look at what they just spent, $15 million on Brenner. Where are they? They're still bottom of the table. I'm sorry,
Justin, those wooden spoons are expensive, man.
Exactly. You know what? They gotta get the wood polish for that. It's gotta look nice. But yeah, like, I use them as a prime example and say to some of our fans who are like, why aren't they spending? I go, do you want to be FC Cincinnati? No. And the obvious answer is no. Like, don't get me wrong, would I love to splash some money on some great DPs? Yeah. But I also know that the Union have great academy players, that Ernst Tanner is great at scouting, that we can get a DP for around 2 million, which is 2 to 3. At some point, when you get above that 1 million into the 2 to 3, you're starting to get the players, you're starting to get the Diego Valeris and the Sebastian Blancos. Like, you're getting players that are not as going to be well known, but they're going to be good players for those teams. And yeah, that's what the Union are doing, and I'm okay with that. And you're starting to see more and more investment into not just the academy, but the roster itself. And that's why you have, people laughed about, having Alvis Powell as a backup. Well, he's filled in, when you needed to give Bizo some rest, especially when he has international duty. And oh yeah, Andre Blake's, with the national team, and Matt Freese has a red card. Well, aren't you glad you have 4 goalies now on your roster? Like, it might sound crazy, but the spending and this team has started to go up, and you're still starting to see the same results, the same drive, the same hunger. So I think the Union are trending upwards. It is just, I'm glad that, for all of us who've been there since the beginning, it's been a long slog, and we've had some bad years. And I would say prior to 2017, there was not a lot to be hopeful for. Yeah. You swung and missed twice on the Open Cup. I'm sorry, 3 times, because I was at the third one in Houston. Trust me, that was not fun, going down 3-0 inside of 25 minutes. But you know what? In the last few years, that patience, that waiting for something to happen has finally paid off. And I can honestly say, like, I don't think I've ever been happier to be a Union fan, because I know that this team has a goal, a drive to improve. And that supporter shield was, I think, just the start of what could be hopefully a better Philadelphia Union team.
Let me tell you the secret to winning the Open Cup. You just have a historically bad season, and just like absolutely historically bad, and you find a way to win it. Last time DC United played the Union, 1-0 win for you guys. I was kind of surprised by Jim Curtin's tactics. He kind of just sat back and sort of let DC have the ball, and basically rolled it out and said, try to score, see what you can do. Obviously, DC United is let me tell y'all, if you haven't been watching, which I don't blame you. We're not on national TV. We're not every week. I understand. DC, and you probably saw the scoreline against Toronto, so maybe the secret's out. But DC's found their attack a little bit. I'll start with Zack, since Zack's the pessimist, and I need a good boost heading into Saturday. Do you anticipate that you'll see the same strategy that you saw in the home leg for DC?
I think that it's definitely possible. Although with the new acquisition of Gazdag, we could see something different. Although I genuinely believe that this team is better when they don't have the ball, because they're so good at countering, or at least they were before this run of 3 games where they've been relatively poor. But I mean, I guess their goal against Red Bulls wasn't really a counter, but They did have a man advantage going through on that throw-in to get it into Sergio. But yeah, I think that we could definitely see something very similar because despite the DC United finding their attack a little bit, the Union still are fairly stout defensively when it comes to MLS standards. Like they don't really, besides this Chicago game, they don't really give up multiple goals in games. It happens on occasion, but not very often. So I could definitely see Jim just sitting in again and being like, listen, if you want to come attack us, you better keep 3 or 4 back because we're going to have, because from what I saw from Gazdag too, he looked very like pacier than I thought he would. He looks like he can run those channels if need be. So you can play him up top with Casper because you're not sacrificing any pace. I mean, obviously you're sacrificing some pace because Sergio is faster than almost everyone, but you're not sacrificing as much pace as you were when you had Corey Burke up there with Casper. 2 guys who aren't extremely pacey. Burke's got some pace, but Gazdag looked like he could really move. And yeah, so I would not be surprised at all if Jim just decided to sit back again and let you guys come at us because Glesnes and Elliott have been solid. Bizo Wagner do their job 1v1 defending. Very good. The only thing that might change it is the fact that we do not have either Freeze or Blake in net this week. So that might change the strategy a little bit because Joe Bendick is not,
You mean it's not Greg Ranjitsingh time?
The most ideal. Well, apparently it's not. Apparently they announced that Joe would be starting, but yeah, he's not the ideal guy you want in net. So we'll see. I think they are definitely gonna sit back, and maybe even like do something crazy like have Martinez if he starts just really sit deep in between those 2 center backs. Just in case, because they really don't want shots being taken this week.
Jose sitting back? I don't know, man.
It's not what he likes to do, but which is crazy as a defensive midfielder that you don't like to sit back, but
You know what? Justin might need to suit up and play some goal.
Justin,
it might
get
be
in
your
there,
time,
man.
brother.
Get in there.
They don't need they don't need me. Listen, let's just say
I'm
that
retired.
My better years are behind me.
My better years are behind me too. I could maybe step in. I have a year of JV and a year of varsity, so that would be what I would bring to the table. And I would totally save every goal. I would totally try
every single one.
Totally wouldn't let DC just score on me. Anything anyone else, either John or Justin, anything else y'all want to add to that, or?
You're the tactics side, Justin.
I mean, Zach kind of hit it on the nail on the head there. When it comes to the way that Jim has been lining up lately, I mean, I think your back 4 isn't going to change. I mean, that's the one consistent thing, and that's the one thing that, I mean, even when you lost 1-0 to Nashville, it wasn't like your defense was bleeding goals. So you know what? Why change it? That back 4 of Wagner, Elliott, Glesnes, and Bizo works pretty well. The midfield, and that's where it gets really interesting because I've been saying this on our pod. You have so many options. It's a gaggle of riches. Just okay, who do you put in? I think El Brujo definitely, obviously, is your starter at this point in the defensive mid. Even though I love Leon back there, I think having him as a shuttler because he's got pace. I think he has to be one of the faster players on this team because you see him take the ball and bam, he's gone up 30 yards and it's like that. So I think he probably is going to be on the left. Obviously, Ali on the right. Given that most likely, I think Gazdag will probably be up top. I'm going to say Jamiro plays at the 10. It's not my preferred position for him. I like him more as a shuttler, but he definitely has some good passing range. And then it's going to be Gazdag and Casper up top. I think you save Sergio for a second half sub, maybe around like 60, 65 when Jim usually likes to make those subs. And I think you're not. You're probably going to want to be on the front foot. I know normally the Jim kind of likes to wait and sit in, but with the team, I think the way that they played on Thursday against the Red Bull was kind of more. They tried to play out, but I think they with the conditions they really kind of sat back because it really wasn't conducive to any. And that ball was all over the place, and players definitely were a little off. But I think Union getting back to that counterattacking style that they like, in that pressing style, I think you're gonna see them want to kind of get off to an early start. So I think you're gonna see a lot of pressure, and that's why, like I said, guys like, yeah, obviously doesn't have Sergio's speed, but you're not really losing any speed up top if it was Casper and Corey.
Didn't I read that Jamiro is out for this game because of yellow card accumulation?
Okay, then at that point, I don't think is Fontana back. I'm trying to.
I'm
No.
assuming that it's going to be Leon at that left center mid spot.
So then does that then that brings into maybe McGlynn, maybe Sullivan,
Yeah,
maybe we have Paxton Aronson.
yeah,
Like-
or maybe Gazdag does
Whoa.
play that attacking mid. You do play
We have-
Sergio with Casper up top, which I
Yeah.
honestly would love to see because the pace between those two and then Casper just kind of doing his thing, I think would be a super dangerous combo.
And that's the thing. That front three would probably be amazing. But yeah, that's going back to the gaggle of riches that oh yeah, you have all these young kids, and oh yeah, we might bring Sergio off the bench, or we can just start him for 65, 70 minutes and let him run wild.
yeah.
And then when he gets tired, you know what? You just settle back into a 4-2-3-1 and let Casper do his thing up top.
So yeah, I was gonna be I was gonna ask y'all, you guys got a lot of people. You got Andre Blake, Alvis Powell, Corey Burke, obviously Jamiro on yellow cards in your presumed backup goalkeeper. Though I contend I think Joe Pindick's a solid backup, so I'm not really concerned about that. But it seems to me, Justin, John, I'll let you respond to this since I haven't given you much of a chance. Is it very much just kind of like a next man up mentality in Philly where you just have the depth that you can just you throw guys in there and yep, you're up, let's go?
Yeah, man, it's pretty much. I mean, I always make the reference the Union always play the 2017 Philadelphia Eagles. Carson Wentz goes down, Nick Foles goes in and wins you a Super Bowl. But Jim always predicates on that, and it's funny because when you see the training and you hear him in the press conference, he really bases off of what goes on in training. But it's because everyone is trying to play at a high level to get on the starting 11. So when your time is up, man, you better show Jim what you got. And I loved seeing that from everyone. Zack and Justin kind of alluded to it. Even these young kids, it's funny, they come in and it's nothing, you don't skip a beat. And you would think when you play kids, your attack or your team would miss a little bit of something, but these kids come in and they already know what exactly to do. This type of mentality has been here for the last couple of years. Now a couple of years ago, I was like, okay, the Union have a good enough team. There's depth. Not a lot of teams have that, but now I feel like this team has the skill and it has the depth as well. It really will be tested because obviously DC, you guys are feeling yourself, right? And I didn't mention this, but I'm really intrigued by Hernán Losada's tactics. Obviously come from the Bielsa tree there, and his 3-4-3. We've seen teams use 5 back sets, 3 back sets to kind of neutralize this midfield. I'm curious how Losada's tactics is going to work and try to freeze up this diamond because it's not that it's gotten stale, but it's kind of gotten figured out a little bit, and it's up to the Union to try to get back to their game. Play the physical style of soccer, football, whatever you want to call it. Do that, get that high press working, and I feel like eventually over time this midfield will start to figure out that chemistry. But man, next man up. It is really the mentality here.
Let me tell y'all, it is awesome DC has not had depth. If you ever watched Ben Olsen teams, it was always you had your 11 and then maybe 1 or 2 players afterwards. We're starting to feel this this depth. If someone this center midfield's injured, you got Moses Nyman, who's an amazing talent. We're going to be actually nothing official yet, but Golf has reported that Brendan Heinzike looks like he might actually be out for an extended amount of time. But we've got Fred Brilliant, we've got Steve Birnbaum coming back, so it's kind of almost we're just we'll just next man up, let's go. Obviously, we've got absences to the Gold Cup, but we've got a lot of talent kind of sitting in there that's been sort of sitting and starting to develop. So we definitely love the depth. The depth is very good to have. It's a very good feeling to have that depth. All right, let's get to we got about 3 more minutes. Let's go ahead and get into some predictions for the upcoming game. We'll start with Justin, since you're now you have achieved friend of the show status when you come on twice. That's my rule. What do you got for the upcoming prediction on this game?
Everyone knows I try not to be overly optimistic. I don't go into the Tim territory as Tim was with me the last time. Tim is our expert optimist on the show. Zach counteracts that, so I try to hedge our bets on this. I think even with obviously going down to your third goalkeeper, you're missing Corey Burke, but you still have most of your options available. I'm not too concerned with the recent form. I think getting back home, the Union, the last few years have been pretty good at home, and so I think that trend continues. I do think DC gets an early goal, but I think with that front three potentially of Gazdag, Casper, and Sergio, I think they start to make their presence known by the end of the half. And I think it's going to be a 2-1 game. I think Gazdag finally gets onto the score sheet and gets a nice. I'm going to say it's going to be a chip from close in range, because that, if you look at his highlights, that tends to be his thing. And then I think Casper this year has, not a lot of people, he's not been everyone's favorite player, but he's been the most consistent scorer this year. He gets in those positions, and he's been in the back of the net. That's all you can ask for him at this point. So I think it's a 2-1 Union game. It's going to be a tight one. I think it's 2-1, like the 75th, and the last 15 minutes are probably going to be, as our boss Liam Jenkins likes to say, squeaky bum time, and it'll be a very very tight end of the game. But I see the Union getting back to their winning ways, even though I was tempted for a draw. But I think it's going to be a 2-1 game.
Oh, I'm interested to see what Zach's got to say.
Justin, jump on in, man. What do you got?
Or you mean me, John?
Oh, John. Sorry.
No worries. No worries. I'll take this. It's unfunny because Justin literally took my scoreline. I predict a 2-1 win here. I'm a little concerned about the guys that we're out with. You're missing Andre. You're missing Matt Freeze as well. That's definitely a factor. Jamiro Montero is not going to be in there. Corey Burke, who's been big as well, is not going to be in there. I'm a little bit concerned about that. And DC, man, we haven't lost you guys in 5 matches now. It's been a couple seasons now since you guys have beaten us, and I don't know. I definitely don't feel too comfortable. But what I do know is what we talked about earlier. This team is super resilient, and like you mentioned, it is the next man up mentality that this team does have. I see this team. I see DC going up, maybe like in a 40th minute, like a little bit before halftime. They get a goal, right? And I wanted to say Talent Energy there. Subaru Park is gonna go wild. Everyone's gonna be upset, and then in the second half, we'll find a way to squeak out some 2 goals. It'll come in like the 75th and 85th minute, and it'll be a great night. We're gonna squeak one out. I don't think this team is its full self in 2021 yet. I think it's still gonna take some time, and I'll be okay with the 2-1 win come Saturday night.
Zach, what do you got?
I think it's gonna be 3-1 Union.
What? Wait a minute. That's
what?
the most optimistic scoreline.
I think that I wanted to say 3-2, but being at home, I think that the defense is gonna play inspired because it's Joe back there and they know they have to.
Extra.
And I think that it's going to be Gazdag's coming out party. I think he's going to get 2 goals and an assist. And, I just feel when you have a gut feeling, you don't go against the gut feeling. You know what I mean?
John, I don't know if you could tell, but John and I are both kind of like, a bit of a stunned face.
Yeah, no, I got
definitely
no.
the most optimistic scoreline Zach has ever said.
Yeah, I think 3-1 Union. I think it's going to be 3-1 Union. Now, to be fair, wait a second. In Champions League, when we played Saprissa, I did say they were going to win 2-0 both times. Okay, so I was optimistic then. Then they started playing in the MLS, and then I became less optimistic.
I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I haven't felt this way since Higuain put that goal in the home opener this season. I'm shocked.
Yeah, I'm going to see. I was debating how confident you guys are. Very confident, which means I always want to go for like the prediction to like bring y'all down a level. Because I'm confident about DC. I think I agree with you guys. We're going to score first. I think we're going to try to hold on then for the win. And then I think you guys are going to sneak one. And I think we're gonna learn a lesson we learned against New York, which I don't know if you guys saw that, where we took an early lead, we held on, and then we gave it up 2 goals in like the last 6 minutes to lose it. And I think Hernan talked about how he's sorry because he pushed a lot of like attacking and going from the front foot, and he thinks maybe he let one go there. But I'm going a 1-1 draw this game. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. I'll let whoever wants to jump in. Who wants to tell y'all where you can find, where we can listen, if we want to learn about more about the Union?
Justin, want to get this one?
Sure. If you wanna follow us, we are Doop by the River, Doop by River Pod on Twitter and Instagram.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes.
we are on the Philadelphia Sports Network. We live stream
PSN season.
currently on. I believe on the L parts on your
Yes, you can find that on my YouTube channel.
on your live stream, which will be tomorrow night.
So
Other than that, you can catch myself at Union Nut 26. Obviously John at El Parcero Philly, and
just Barcelo Philly. No more L. Twitter took that away from us.
And Zach at is that Z Lobasso?
Z Lobo, ZLOBO 98. On Twitter.
Yeah, John, we appreciate coming back again. I appreciate being a friend of the show, and I thank you for having us.
Yeah, seriously, thank you so much for having us on tonight. It was a lot of fun, man. It was a lot of fun.
We appreciate you guys coming on, helping us get ready for Saturday. Guys, be sure to check out our Patreon page. If you are a Patreon, you got to listen to this show early, so we thank you. But if you want to get involved, go to our Patreon page, patreon.com/RFK Refugees. Also, check us out on Twitter. We're on Instagram as well. Thank you all so much for listening, and we will catch you guys back on Monday, I believe, for our live show. Vamos.
Doop.